So we're going to have here is this: express questions 1 to 9 in the form ax plus b squared, where a b is element of z. Okay, let's start off with some of the easy ones. Where is my? Oh, of course you're not working. That 1 second. Okay, we're back. Now, what we want to do is factorize this, okay? So question 2 as an example. Factorize x squared plus 6x plus 9, okay? Reference number of 9, 3 and 3, right? So it means that when you factorize this, it's going to be x plus 3, and your answer will be x plus 3 squared. Do you see this little part here? That just means that you're always going to get a perfect square. Okay, it's always going to turn out to be a perfect square. Right? Factorize any of these the normal way and they'll turn out to be a perfect square. So look, as an example, factorize question 9 even. Okay, so I've done 2, followed that by 9, okay? Look what happens when I factorize question 9. It's going to be, if you do it properly, questions 1 to 9 will be the same bracket twice, okay? So 9 times 4, anybody? 36, okay? So it's a reference number of 36. Break 36 down into 2 numbers. That will multiply to give you 36, but will add to give you 12. 6 and 6, okay? Grand. Now look at this. 9x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 4. What can we take out of the first 2? And then after that, 3x plus 2. Yeah, no, I knew what you meant. Plus what can be taken out of here? Into? And now what's the answer? 3x, yeah, you're right. Just one, you are right though. And it's the same thing, twice. So look guys, question 1 to 9. Do the reference number, make sure you get the same bracket twice, and you're done. Alright? Okay, moving on. Express the following questions 10 to 15 in the form a plus b squared plus c, hence or otherwise find the value of x that gives the minimum value for each expression and find that minimum value. Okay, now that doesn't mean anything to you guys right now, absolutely nothing. Okay, now here's the plan. Alright, here's always the plan. You always look at the x value. So in every question you see here, this is the part that we need to look at. Everybody see these? That's the part we're looking at in every question. And that's the part that will help us give the answer, right? So what I do is, once I've located that it's minus 6, what I do is I half that number. So what's half that number? Even just the minus 6 on its own. Half of it is minus 3, right? So what I do is, see the way these are all 1x squareds? See the way they're all 1x squareds, yeah? So to get an x squared, it's usually x multiplied by x, yeah? Or technically x squared, alright? So what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to divide that minus 6 into 2 numbers. I'm going to divide it into minus 3 here and minus 3 there. Okay? Now what happens when I multiply this out? I'm just going to trust you can all multiply it out. Minus 6x plus 9. I get a very similar number to the one I have up here, don't I? The only difference is they have 11 where I have 9. So what do I do to make that balance? Plus 2 at the end. Now would you agree they're the same thing? Now what can I change this back into? Oh, well done. X minus 3 squared plus 2. Does that match the structure of the answer they're looking for? What's the structure they're looking for? They're looking for a squared with an x in the brackets, x and some other number squared, then plus a random number c, and it has to equal what we started off with originally. Is that alright? Oh yeah, sorry, I'll just do that for you there. X by x, x squared. X by 3 minus 3x. Minus 3 by x minus 3x. See that? And then minus 3 by minus 3 plus 9. And I turned it into minus 6x plus 9. Alright? Try another one now. We'll try one with a plus in it. Maybe question 14. Now, what did I say? It's the part in yellow. What are we targeting? We're targeting the 12, aren't we? X bracket something, X bracket something. What did we say to do with the 12? 6? Yeah. X plus 6 and X plus 6. Multiply that out, Rory.
X squared.
Yeah.
Plus 6x.
Plus. Now, that's X squared plus. Plus. Now, very similar to the one we have here. Except what's different? Instead of 3. How'd you turn 36 into 3? Minus 33. Excellent. Okay, now what can we change this part to again? X plus 6 minus 33. So you see, I'm always just locking into the middle part, turn it into a perfect square, then adding on what I'm missing. Yes, look, I neglected to do in the last question was, I found the expression, yeah? I forgot to find the minimum value for the expression. Now the minimum value for the expression means the lowest value you can find. So as an example, if I use the number 1, if I use x equals 1, what would the answer be? It'd be 7 squared minus 33. Does everybody know where I got the 7 from? 6 plus 1. I chose 1 as an example. And then 7 squared minus 13 is an answer of 16. Okay? Let's try x equals 6 as an example. If x equals 6, what's 6 plus 6? 12 squared minus 33. 144 minus 33. 111. Whoa, that's a really big value. That's hardly minimum, is it? Now, what happens is I can put in all these numbers and I'll never ever find the minimum value. To find the minimum value, however, see the way that's squared to be 7 and that one turned out to be 12 squared. What happens if we put that as 0 squared? Won't that make it really small? Because you won't be adding anything onto your minus 33. Would you agree with that? So look at this. How do we make this part 0? What x value should I choose? There you go. Minus 6. Okay? And now what happens here is this, guys. When we get minus 6 plus 6 squared minus 33, it turns into... Oh, no, you didn't. Yeah. So, guys, what we had here was this turns into a minimum value of 0 squared minus 33, which is 33. Now, do you remember all these graphs can be drawn as a U-shaped function? Do you remember that? All of them can be drawn as a U-shaped function. So, what I mean by this is that if I go to mode table and I put in x squared, now you remember me doing this at a junior cert level with you, don't you? We put in all the numbers and we put in plus 3. And let's go from, I don't know, minus 7 up to 5. Look at all these numbers. Minus 7 is minus 32. Okay, actually I'll go one step further to the right. I'll go from minus 10 just to let you see what's going on here. Okay, minus 10 is worth minus 17. So minus 10 is about here. Minus 9 is minus 24. So it's getting lower. Minus 8 is minus 29. It's getting lower again. Minus 7 is 32. Minus 6. Minus 33 is the smallest number we've seen, isn't it? And then what happens after that? Starts going back up again. So it went down and then it went back up again. Now look at this. I drew that graph. I drew all those points and look what happens. It's on its way down and then at the point minus 6 it's roughly worth minus 33, isn't it? And then after that it's on its way back up. Hence that is the minimum point. You can see it by calculator as well. But how to do this really quickly, I'll do question 15 as my last answer. Okay, so the answer was x equals minus 6 and the minimum value was minus 33. So to hit this point home on question 15 would be like this. Question 15, once again, target the middle number. What is it? It's minus 4. What do I do with the minus 4? Okay, I multiply that out, I get x squared minus 4x plus 4. How does this number differ from this one here? It should be a plus 3, sorry, plus 3. Yeah? And we turn this back into what? Plus 3. Isn't that easy, right? Now, this is a, what shape of curve is it? I said all x squared curves are what shape? U-shaped. So some form of U-shaped curve. Okay? What's the minimum value? We're looking for what is going to be the minimum value. Okay? We turn that into a 0. Remember we said we always turn the square into a 0. So what do we choose? X equals 2. So that will turn out to be 0 squared plus 3. And what's the other value then? 3. If I do this properly, this will be the point. This is the point x equals 2, y equals 3. So that will be the point 2, 3 is the minimum point on the curve. You can check that out using your calculator if you want. You just put the original one into the table function and you'll see that it's at its lowest point at 2, 3. Yeah. If I was to do it by calculator, but I still have that part. If I went to x squared, was it minus 4x plus 7? Now you can see, and just for argument's sake, just go from minus 5 all the way to 5. So you wouldn't know where to start and end. You're just taking a rough guess, left or right. Now look at it, okay? Whoa. Yeah, this one here, I reckon. Okay, it's really tall. 52 in the air. It's 39 in the air. It's 28 in the air. It's getting lower, getting lower. 0, it's at around 7. 1, it's at 4. 2, it's at 3, the lowest point, and then it starts going back up again, doesn't it? So when you draw it, that reflects that. Yes. These ones you could do using the minus b formula. The minus b formula would get you these answers here. Everybody cool with that? So an example of the minus b formula would be, you could try it this way, right? So I'll just do the minus b formula just for completion's sake. We're not going to do these using the minus b formula though, oddly enough. Okay? So we could do this. Well, actually you can use the minus b formula if you want. It actually says hence or otherwise. So the minus b formula for any question here will work. Do you got that? So here's how you can do it, right? You can do it like this. You can say a equals 1. So it'll be minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 4 squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times 1. What we could get here is minus 4 plus or minus, that's going to be 16 plus 4, root 20. Okay, so root 20 in the calculator is 2 root 5 all over 2. Now what happens next, guys? Divided by 2. Minus 2 plus root 5 minus 2. 5. Well, that's very easy, right? Now look at this. There's a cheeky way of doing these, right? A really easy way of doing these, right? Does anybody, you're looking at this here. X squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. Like last time, we're targeting what part? We're targeting that 4 right there. Now what happens next? We do x plus 2, x plus 2. That gets us x squared plus 4x plus 4. Plus 4 is a different number than minus 1. So what's the correction we need? Minus 5. Perfect. Equals 0. Now look at this, right? We now factorize it back into x plus 2 squared minus 5 equals 0. Would everybody agree that this here is the same as this here? If I multiply that out and take away the 5, it's going to turn right back into that one there. Everybody agreed with that? That's the whole point. I haven't changed the question, have I? No. So here's what else we're going to do. Once we reach this point, here's a little trick that they do. You bring the 5 over to the other side. You don't do the minus b formula. You bring the 5 over to the other side. Now, can somebody tell me something, alright? Ignore this part for 1 minute. Alright? And I want you to think of a really basic question you've done in the past. Here's a really basic question you've done in the past. What is x squared equals 16? What's the answer to that? And another way of writing that is x equals root 16, or x equals minus root 16, x equals 4, x equals... Okay. Anybody stuck on that part? Okay. What happens if I had x squared, or another letter, m squared equals 5? What are the two answers? M equals minus root 5 and m equals plus root 5. Okay, so any number squared, when it equals another number, we can square root both sides and just do a plus answer and a minus answer. This here is a number squared. It should follow the same logic, shouldn't it? What happens when you square root this side? It turns into x plus 2. When you square root the other side, root 5. And the other one will be minus root 5. What happens when you bring the 2 over the other side? X equals minus 2 plus root 5, and x equals minus 2. Oh wait, they're the same answers we got using the minus b formula. So it didn't. We could use the minus b formula, or we could use this way. All right. So guys, we have this one here, question 23. All right. I'll do question 21 after this. Question 23. You can do it using the minus b formula to solve it, right? But our first question wants us to do what, guys? First question wants us to make it look like this. How would you make it look like that, Rory? What you do? No, not the reference number. And you get? And plus 6 here. Now the reason we do that is when we multiply it back out, we're going to get x squared plus 12x plus 36. See the way we get the x squared and the 12 back out? And in every question we always get the first two parts back exactly as we want them, yeah? That'll happen every time. Now, once that happens, what was the cost of that happening? We're meant to have 16, but instead of 16 we have... How'd you correct that? Okay. Is it in the form we want? No. So how do I change it back into the form we want? Squared. Perfect, alright? Now, I could go back to the very start and do the minus b formula, but I already have a lot of work already done here. I'm going to take advantage of that work. I'm going to bring the 20 over the other side, and I'm going to get x plus 6 squared equals 20. I'm going to square root both sides. So remember, if I had y squared equals 20, there'd be two answers, wouldn't there? Y equals root 20 and y equals... This is the same thing. I'll have x plus 6 equals root 20, or x plus 6 equals minus root 20. And I put root 20 into my calculator. That's not it. And we got 2 root 5. Okay, x plus 6 equals 2 root 5. Now, anybody tell me how to finish off this question? Huh? Bring over the 6's. And what are my two answers going to be? And then, is it? Oh, plus, yeah. And the other one? 2 root 5. It's handy, isn't it? Yeah, you could have done the minus b formula from scratch and you get the same answer. Your call. Not gonna... Once you get out the answer, okay? So your two key points is, to get full marks in this question, you need two things. The first thing you need to do is you need to be able to show me that it turns into this thing here. And no matter what way you do it, whether it's the minus b formula, what I just showed you there, you need to show me the two answers to get full marks. Is that alright? Alright. The only other thing that can get in your way, now I won't go too long into this because I think I've done, was it 19 and 23 so far. See when it's a minus x squared, yeah? The minus x squared doesn't affect you at all. Do you know what you can do? You can just multiply both sides by minus 1, and you'll end up with x squared plus 2x equals 0. And then you just do the same technique anyway. What would be the same technique? Yeah, who said that? X plus 1, because you half the middle number. And that will give you x squared plus 2x plus 1. How much am I short by? I'm short minus 3. And then what happens then? It's x plus 1 squared minus 3 equals 0. Solve that. We're going to get x plus 1 squared equals 3. X plus 1 equals and then our two answers. 1 minus 1 plus root 3 and there you go. They're not too bad, are they? What? They're actually alright. Guys, look at the next ones, okay? Remember the previous ones were minimum values, and now these ones are maximum values. Can anybody explain why? In the previous questions, all our equations were U-shaped plus x squared. In all of these questions here, which is N-shape. N-shapes have maximums, U-shapes have minimums. Okay? Now you're going to see why in a second. So, we're going to do what we did last time. Let's see if I can remember this. Just one sec. You're going to go to any of them, like question 26. Step 1 when you're doing maximums is take out minus 1. Minus 1 bracket. Now what's going to be left inside? Minus 8 plus 2x plus x squared. Yeah? Now, ignore the minus 1 on the outside. The minus 1 is still there. But what we're now concentrating on is our x squared plus 2x minus 8. We're going to repeat the procedure we did earlier on today. What procedure did we do earlier on? Where did we target? We target the middle. What happens when we target the middle? Minus 1 times x plus 1 and x plus 1. And what does that turn into? Minus 1 into x squared plus 2x plus, and it's meant to be minus 8. So how do I sort that out? Right, come on guys. How do I sort out that? Minus 9. Now what's left in the bracket then? Minus 1 times x plus 1 squared minus 9. Multiply in by the minus 1. What happens? Multiply in by the minus 1. I'm going to say plus 9 minus x plus 1 to be squared. Now guys, look at this, okay? No matter what number I put in here, what happens is, if I was to draw that, if I was to find out all the numbers for this, look what happens. I'm just going to write down this here. 9 minus x plus 1 squared. Now look what happens. I'm just not going to calculate them all because it just takes so long. Minus 5 to plus 5. Now look what happens. Minus 5 gives me a low answer of minus 7. Minus 4 gives me an answer of 0. Minus 3 gives me an answer of 5. Minus 2 gives me an answer of 8. Minus 1 gives me an answer of 9. 9's the biggest number I had so far, isn't it? It's the maximum. Keep going down. 0 is 8. It's on its way back down again, isn't it? It hence mimics the N-shaped structure. It goes up to a maximum of 9 and then comes back down again. Now look at this, guys. What number in here will turn this into a 0? Now, can anybody tell me why do you want to turn this to a 0 if you're looking for a maximum? Yeah, 9 times any number will make the number smaller than 9. Would you agree with that? X plus 1 squared has to be a positive number. Why does it have to be a positive number? It's squared. Any number squared is a positive number. So if it's 9, take away a positive number, the answer is going to be a number smaller than 9. Hence it won't be the maximum value. The maximum value is when this is 0. How do you turn that into 0? choose x equals minus 1. That turns into 0 squared, and your maximum value is 9. This is the value minus 1, 9. Look at it here. Minus 1, 9. Look at this, guys. Same deal. Step 1 for an n-shaped graph. It's an n-shaped graph. It has a maximum value. What's step 1? Take out what number? Minus 1, because you want to make it very similar to what you had earlier on, don't you? Now, minus 1 times x squared plus 4x minus 45. If you multiply it back out, what will you get? If you multiply back in the minus 1, what should you get? You'll get plus 45, you'll get minus 4x, and you'll get minus x squared. Now, pretend the minus 1 doesn't even exist for a while. Just put it miles outside and make some massive brackets here. What number did we target in the easier questions? We always targeted the middle. And what do we turn it into next? X plus 2 by... And then when we multiply that out, it's plus 4x plus 4. How much short are we? How short are we? Sorry? We're, yeah, so minus 49. Because it has to turn into minus 45. Now, I forgot one thing. I forgot to square the number in the front. So I'll show you what I mean now. So, I'm going to turn that back into... Now, what's the square root of 49, just out of interest? I'm going to change that to 7 squared, because I forgot to read that they actually want to turn that number into a squared as well. Okay? And then what happens next, guys? Multiply in by minus 1. Is that alright? When does it reach its maximum value? When this part here is 0. It's going to be 7 squared minus some number I don't know yet. If that number is 0, it means that the overall system is going to be as large as humanly possible. It's going to be the tip of your n-shaped structure. Okay? So what means here is, what number should I pick to make that 0? X equals minus 2. So it's going to be 7 squared minus 0 squared, which is going to be 49. So that would be the point minus 2. 49 is the tip of that structure. Okay? At the very end of the last question, I'll just skip back to the very end of the last question. What we had was a question 26, wasn't it? Okay, remember I had 9 here. I technically should have changed that 9 into 3 squared. I just forgot that at the time. Is that alright? Okay guys, so in today's class